Okay, good evening, colleagues. I think none of us expected us to be here this late. I mean, officially, I think the meeting should have closed yesterday or at the latest by lunchtime today. Sometimes when things are difficult and you give it more time to reflect and play with, they just even become more difficult and complicated and so on. So just to let you know what we're going to do tonight, and indeed we intend to close the meeting in 2 hours. I think a lot of us have flights, so preferably 9 p.m., but 10 p.m. absolutely the latest cut-off time for our plenary meeting. First of all, I do want to thank you all you've all worked really hard. I mean, sometimes issues are just very difficult. Sometimes issues are complex. They are well above our pay grade, and we are being asked to fix issues that we simply cannot resolve at our level. And sometimes we have to accept that. At the same time, when Richard and I, when we took this job as the co-chairs of the Transitional Committee, our vision and objective and firm commitment was to ensure that we would deliver on all aspects of the mandate of the Transitional Committee. Sometimes it's seemed like an easy job. Sometimes it seemed like a really, really tough job. And I think, especially I think today, it seemed like really sort of like a mission impossible. But we would still like to be hopeful. We are hopeful. You will have seen today various versions of our efforts in terms of trying to get the balance right on the package that would go to the COP. Again, our vision is that we would indeed agree to the decision text, to the governing instrument, and to the recommendations on the funding arrangements, and that would go as one package that we could then deliver to the COP presidency. But I think just before I introduce the text, the latest version of the text that I believe none of you have seen yet, and the sort of the last surgical edits that we've done to it, I think it would be really helpful to hear from the incoming COP28 presidency to just sort of to really focus on what is it exactly that is at stake and what are the expectations. So Adnan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Uti and Richard, and good evening, colleagues. We're reaching the end of a very, very intense day. I've been following reports of the Transition Committee previously, but this was the first time I attended, and clearly what was very evident to me is everybody understands the importance of what we have to achieve here. Everybody understands that the global community is very aware of this issue and is looking for a resolution to this, and that we need a positive signal coming out of the TC to assure us of a trajectory of progress towards COP28, which is going to be an extremely consequential COP. It's a COP where we're going to take the first global stocktake. We're going to set the direction for the future in a way that we can achieve the ambitions of the Convention and the Paris Agreement. And I think the alarm we're seeing in the international community after a year of extreme events that have focused everybody's minds on the human and economic cost of the disasters that we have seen, this discussion has achieved even more significance. So what we're trying to do here is critically important. I want to pay tribute to you all because I can see how hard and in what a dedicated way you have all worked. But I'd like to pay particular tribute to our co-chairs, Richard Sherman, old friend of mine, and Uti, new friend of mine, who've worked extremely diligently, extremely hard, have tried their level best to try to capture where all of you stand and try to come to a landing ground that, if it doesn't make everybody ecstatic, at least it establishes a baseline of unhappy acceptability for all of us. I think the fact that we are so close is really something that we all have to think about. We're at the last point in this discussion after all the work that we have done. We were close at the 4th Transitional Committee. When we were not able to achieve the outcome there, we offered to have a 5th Transitional Committee here. This is coming at the end of a really intensive week. We've had the pre-COP, we've had the HODS meetings, we have the TC, and I can assure you for several weeks before that, we've been working every day to try to get to a situation where this important week in preparation for COP28 would be able to deliver important outcomes and give us a way forward. So that's the context in which we're working. If we are able to find agreement today, we will have established a fund and funding arrangements, and we will have put in place a governance framework, and we will have put in place a board that will do the detailed work that needs to be done in terms of the further articulation of how all of this will work. I think that's a massive achievement if we are able to achieve that. And that's an achievement that will not only give a positive signal to the world at large, but it'll put us on a positive trajectory for success at COP28. You, as climate negotiators, know more than me that there are linkages among all things. In every negotiation, when we have so many agenda items and so many outcomes on the table, the psychology of everything is that it is linked and that it is a comprehensive and coherent outcome that we're looking at. We need to start that process with a positive approach. We need to start that process with an outcome that puts us on track to do that. I think this is the demand of the world. I understand that there are very important and significant issues that we all had to address. Some of them are fundamental to the way you look at international cooperation and the future of the climate regime. I think Richard and Uti have made a very credible and commendable effort to try to understand where everybody stands. It's also clear that there are many issues that are directly contradictory. And finding a pathway that allows us to resolve those contradictions, to address the very fundamental issues that we need to address, and to create a framework that may not achieve 100% of everything everybody around the table wants, but achieves enough that it launches a process that is transformational in terms of the work that we need to do going ahead. So those are the stakes as I see them. We have, throughout our presidency, emphasized the importance of inclusion. We have stressed the importance of every voice in this process being heard. It's really encouraging to see how the Transition Committee has worked to ensure that that is the case, and I commend the co-chairs again for ensuring an inclusive process like that. But now we need to come to the moment of truth in terms of how we move forward. And we had a discussion with the co-chairs. It's very clear that we were reaching a point that we were achieving a kind of perpetual motion circularity in the discussion. And it was time now to go back to basics, to go back to understanding what the core issues that we need to resolve here are, and to advance the proposal that could achieve that. So with that, we're looking forward to your positive consideration. Thank you very much for all the work that you have done. Thank you for your partnership in this journey. We still have a long way to go. We will see each other again after today. But I think we have reached a point today that we need to come to conclusions on where we stand. So with that, I'll hand it back to Uti. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adnan, for also being very clear about what is at stake indeed at the work of the Transitional Committee and what is it that we are really striving to achieve. I'll now ask the Secretariat to put the latest version of the text on the screen. I'm also asking the Secretariat to share both the track changes and the clean versions of the text with the members and advisors electronically. I would introduce the changes because, again, there'll be so many versions today that I think everyone is getting more or less confused. And then we would give you half an hour to look at the text. I'm sure that there'll be things in it that you will like. I'm sure that there'll be things that you don't like. And if there are indeed things that you absolutely cannot live with, I would then ask you to find your fellow TC member from the other constituency and try to come up with a sort of a suitable compromise. If we don't have agreed language, then I think we will just be deleting paragraphs, and then we'll see where we get. We will assess at some point whether indeed it is even possible to come to an agreement tonight. I mean, we would be able to assess that in an hour's time, and then if indeed the outcome is that there is no consensus in having this document agreed, then what would go to the COP would be just a procedural report from the Transitional Committee. So the report would not have the governing instrument, it would not have the recommendations on the funding arrangements, and it would not have the decision text. So again, just to stress what is at stake. Now, Fatin, if you would like to put the text on the screen, and also I hope it's being now shared with the members as well. So, like Adnan highlighted, Richard and I met with the incoming COP presidency earlier this evening, and indeed, after that meeting, decided to make one last attempt at capturing, attempt to try to get to an agreement and present a clean text. So this text that we'll now have on the screen is the track changes version, I believe. Is it? No, okay, this is the clean version. Okay, that's fine. So what we have now is the clean version. So perhaps we can start scrolling the text slowly. Yeah, let me just... So we'll ask Fatin to put the track changes one, so that's so much easier, because I'm sure that you all remember really well what the previous versions looked like. And following the advice that we were also getting from the incoming COP28 presidency on paragraphs where we felt that it would not be possible to reach consensus, we have deleted a number of paragraphs from the text. Okay, now let's see. Can we have a screen that's not black? Jens, please.
It's just a question, Uti. Did you say that we would get the text also by mail? Because I don't think we have received it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe there's an internet problem, so but you should be getting it in a minute as soon as we get it fixed. Okay, Paul tells me that it should have now arrived in your mailboxes. Richard and I are beginning to feel that the universe is against us, because when we want to actually show something on the screen, we can see it here, but it's not, so we can't project it in the big screen. Let's hope it works soon.
The universe can be wherever they want, but we fully support you.
Okay, thank you. Now I think we can get going. So, Fatin, if you just scroll the text. How come it's scrolling on that one? Okay, there's a time lag. Okay, good. Okay, so keep scrolling. And again, sort of what you see on the screen is the attempt by the co-chairs to respond to the concerns that were raised at the opening, at the plenary this morning, when we introduced our first iteration of the text. Doesn't seem that we can get the text scrolling on the screen, but maybe just to highlight it, few things very quickly. In a number of places, we've actually gone back to the version that you had the first thing this morning. But again, just to stress that we have also attempted to really address the concerns raised by both developing country constituencies and the developed countries. So perhaps I should actually, rather than trying to go through a text that I can't show on the screen, obviously, I think we'll now sort of suspend for half an hour to give you a time to look through the text. After that, we would simply ask you whether you can live with the text as it stands, or if indeed it is a text that would be rejected by the committee. Diane, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Co-Chair. I'm taking the floor to say I have to leave and to go to the airport. I'm leaving from Dubai, so it's quite a trek. So I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of AOSIS. Kaja will still be here. Haja will be here, sorry. To say that this has been quite a year. We really look forward to working with all of the parties to develop a fund that all of our, from the time I joined AOSIS, this is something that we wanted to do. There's a lot of hope around the world that we are all moving in a direction where we will not permanently lose our homes or go bankrupt by climate change. And for this, we're really grateful that all of us work so hard together. So I'd like to thank our co-chairs. And I will apologize to you, Uti, for how much we really press you. I'm not apologizing to Richard. He knows why. But I have a big bottle of rum from the Caribbean for him. So he'll feel pain and we'll give him some medication for that. To my fellow TC member, we enjoyed working together to see what we can develop, and our goal has always been to create a good fund. It's not a good fund for AOSIS or a good designed fund that we can be proud of. It's not a developed country fund or a developing country fund. We thought, which I always say, to do something that is technically correct. And we tried this. We'd like to say thank you to the Secretariat, to Lando and his team. We work together in finance. And to our outgoing president and incoming president. And we're looking forward to working with you next year. And thanks to Mo and everybody else and all the persons who fund and made this happen. So on the text itself, we know that we can't go any further, and it would really be tough. For AOSIS, we will accept this text as it is. It's not everything that we want it to be, but I think it's a good fund. Where we think that it needs improvement, AOSIS countries have started to strategize on how we can refine the idea of the fund and the funding arrangements going forward. And we're inviting everybody else to think of the same. In our group, we had a lot of argument, and my advice to everybody is to go to the board and this work here is not done here. You still have to go to the board. We still have to provide guidance later on. So the fund is brand new and it's not done. And what we would like to say to Hannah going forward is there's a lot of things we've wanted and we couldn't get. But it'll be good to have a process to go forward to see how we can convince each other a little bit more with time to see where we can land somewhere in the future. So that is our role here. And so I can leave here knowing that we will live to fight another day. And thank you so much. It's have 2 seats on the board. So that's 4 of us coming to the board meeting. So that definitely will be fun times for everyone. So that's how we are looking at it. And we're seeing this as a success. And to see that we have gotten almost everything that we would like to see. And we're working with you, all of you, going forward to see if we can get the rest. You know, as a woman, we want everything. 100%, right? So, and I know we can get that when we work together. So thank you very much. I'll stop here, and AOSIS will accept the text, co-chairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Diane, and thank you for all your contributions and efforts. We worked for a long time together on the Standing Committee on Finance and on this one as well, and safe travels, and hoping to see you soon. We'll now pause for half an hour, so we will reconvene at 10 to 9. Please don't leave the room, but you're welcome to use all the space in the room and huddle and go through the text and talk to your fellow TC members if there's something you still need to clarify or if there's something that absolutely needs to be tweaked. But when we then reconvene at 10 to 9, we will be asking whether colleagues can accept this text as it stands and whether we can just kind of basically transmit it as is to the COP and the CMA. So we're going to suspend the meeting now, and we will reconvene at 10 to 9. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So now we can continue. And as I just said, just wanted to highlight one, it's not even a grammatical error, it was an error of punctuation that we missed while revising the document. So I'd just like to read the language on paragraph number 12, where we say, urge developed country parties to continue to provide support and encourage other parties to provide, comma, or continue to provide support, comma, on a voluntary basis, comma, for activities to address loss and damage, not full stop, semicolon. So just apologies for not having noticed that at an earlier version of the text, and working with track changes at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, I think things like this can happen. I think you've now had an opportunity to consult both in the constituencies and also talk to each other a bit. So can I now check whether we have agreement on the text? Thank you. So we have now reached agreement and will be able to forward recommendations to the COP and CMA in line with our mandate. Accordingly, Christina?
Thank you, Uti. We would like to propose some changes to paragraph 12, and I'd like to be able to put them on the floor. Thank you very much. Given what I'm hearing in terms of the discussions, that the intent of the on a voluntary basis is meant to cover the entire paragraph, I would like for it to be if we take it out and then put it as a footnote and say these urgings and encouragements are all on a voluntary basis, just to make that clear. We would in terms of paragraph 13, we'd like to, not really understanding where the language came from, continuing to take the lead. We could agree to this language if it said developed country parties to take the lead to provide financial resources for commencing the operationalization of the fund. Thank you.
Okay, again, just to note that we now have several flags coming up. I mean, I read in the earlier punctuation mistake that we had made on behalf of the co-chairs. I will take very brief interventions, but again, we will close by 10 o'clock. So Sally, okay, Sally, Tulio, Mo, Ali, Sally, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. I mean, I really just want to pose a question here. We have seen the deletion of a paragraph, it was old paragraph 13, which really went to the need for this fund to operate at scale through inviting contributions from a wide range of sources. It goes to the heart of what we're trying to do, which is to have impact. So it's very confusing to me as to why it's been removed. So that is a question, because it strikes me as it's really going to the heart of what we're wanting to do. So I'd like to pose a question about whether or not we could consider reinstating that, potentially in a revised way, in perhaps a more simplified way, and I'm happy to read on the mic what I would suggest. It would be invite contributions from a wide range of sources for it to operate at a scale to have a significant impact in the context of the urgency of the global response to the threat of climate change. To me, this seems to be what we are trying to do here, and I have a question as to why we're no longer willing to say it. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer that question in a minute. Tulio, please.
Thank you, Co-Chair, and we do appreciate your effort and your guidance in providing us not only with what your feeling of substance into a successful delivery to the COP of this process would be, but also a procedural way forward. We take note that we only have 15 minutes. We would love to engage more with everyone, but we're afraid we cannot afford the time. So from my delegation, especially given the fact that one of our members is no longer here and already accepted the text as it is now, we would strongly urge parties to abide by your procedural guidance in taking or leave the text as it is, and ask again whether there would be any party that would have strong reservation that would prevent this text, the way it is, from being taken forward to the COP. Thank you.
Thank you. Ali, please, followed by Mo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Co-Chair. Building on what my previous speaker has said, I have a procedural question that what my understanding is the text in front of us is have it or leave it text. And since there is like only 15 minutes left, we don't have any time to engage on it. So can you clarify that where we are? Because my position here is that though I'm not happy with it, I can go, there is a long list which I wanted, which is not there, but I'm happy to accept it as is, and what's your way forward?
Thank you. Mo, please.
Thank you so much, co-chairs. And although personally I'm not happy with the text, but for the sake of moving forward, and I have a long list of concerns and questions like others, but taking how late we are and an extended session, our approach was we will accept the text as is, not open it, because if we open it even for minor edits, as you have put forward, then we'll be able, or others will be able to open it, and then we're not going to end here. There's always opportunity to accept it and then put your reservation, make sure that your comments are captured. This is always a procedural processes that we can take forward with the understanding, of course, that this is a recommendation coming from the TC for the COP to consider. So there is another space where we go to the COP and have to present it and we take it from there. But opening elements now, including editorial elements, will be, I think, challenging for all of us. I'll leave it there and I'll leave it in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. As everyone knows, Richard and I, we have flights in a couple of hours, and we really need to be out of here by 10 o'clock. So again, just to stress that this is a take it or leave it text. You're very welcome to read in then your reservations. We would like to ensure that all the hard work that we've done during the year that would go forward to the COP, and that we could then move forward with the text as is, with the addition of the two commas that we had accidentally deleted in an earlier version. Adele, please, followed by Heike.
Thank you very much, co-chairs. Like others, I think some of critical elements that we proposed are not here. But for considering time constraints, I think it's almost not possible to open a space for discussion further. But what we will do, we may just have some reservation issues that it will be discussed at, let's say, board level, if it's possible, and also at the COP level. I think that will be useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adele. Haja, please.
Thank you, Uti. I think we have come so far, and of course we are not happy with everything in the text, but I think in this moment of solidarity and in looking forward and in getting this fund and making this work for the most vulnerable, we would really like to take the text as it is, and already Diane had accepted from AOSIS, and we want to work in good faith, so I would really like to put forward this document as a TC's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Heike, followed by Sonam. Okay, Heike does not want to speak. Then Sonam, followed by Angela.
Thank you, Chair. I echo the views from my developing constituencies and my colleague. We worked very hard for this, and we, the LDC group, are at the forefront of climate change. They've been suffering, and I think they deserve this loss and damage fund. And as my colleague mentioned, it is not perfect. There are many things that we want, but nevertheless, we are willing to accept it in its current form. And if, so that is our position. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Co-Chair. Just first of all, let me start by expressing my gratitude to both of you, because we do really appreciate the efforts that you have been doing since the beginning of this process. And although I have to say that this is not a perfect text, and we have some concerns, and all positions that we bring here are not well reflected, we can live with it in the spirit of compromise and trying to move forward and trying to reach the concerns of our vulnerable people who is suffering now the effects of climate change. We can accept this text and move forward, sending the recommendations to the Conference of the Parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, can I ask again? Can we forward the text? And you're all very welcome to then read in your reservations to the record of the meeting. Christina, please.
I hope you take this sincerely. The U.S. team has been working over the last 10 months in good faith with partners, trying to design this fund to do exactly what others have said. To be effective, to be set up quickly so that money can start reaching to the most vulnerable in the fastest way possible and in the most impactful way possible. Given the question on the table that this is a take it or leave it, I do have a question for you. So if we do not agree, it is then what? What is the process if we cannot agree? If you are saying that there is no more opportunity to continue to talk to each other? Because I tried and was told, no, this is take it or leave it. And so I just want to know what is the process to say that we cannot agree to this text? Because the objection to the footnote, to make clear, given that is what everyone is saying to me, no, this paragraph means it's voluntary for everyone, is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. I do also want to stress that all funding to the fund is voluntary. That there are no sort of mandatory financing obligations to the funds that we are setting up, which I think has been part of the challenge that we've been dealing with for the big part of this year. So it is voluntary. And certainly our reading of the text as it's drafted with the punctuation on voluntary basis leaves that flexibility for interpretation also in this regard. But do I now take it, Christina, that you are objecting to the text, which would then mean that that we would then have to see whether we can agree to the text in the governing instrument and in the funding arrangements, but then there would be nothing on the decision, and that would then be negotiated at the COP. That would then be the other option. But again, given that from the outset we said this is a take it or leave it text and that it is a package, my fear is that if we then go down that route, we are very quickly in a situation where there's no agreement reached on any part of the package, and that would then mean that from our year of working really hard on this issue, the only thing that goes forward to the COP and the CMA would be just a procedural report without any of the substance. So again, we as co-chairs, we've been trying to help you with the work throughout the year. We've tried to help lead the work. But I mean, I think at this very late hour, we had a lot of time yesterday to discuss sources. It is understandably a very difficult issue, and it was not possible in that huddle setting or small group setting to make progress. What we have put on the table now, Richard and I, this is our sort of best effort of trying to land this. However, if the committee is not in a position to agree to it, and I believe, I mean, at least sort of my reading is that we wanted to agree to it as a package, so as a decision, governing instrument, and the recommendations of the funding arrangements, then I fear we would then have to revert to just having a procedural report, which of course would be a great pity. Gillian, please.
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you very much again. I think this is unfaithful job for everybody, because we are not talking about our own principles or something like that. And I understand all our members who try so hard to find some solutions, because we are doing something whose beneficiary, not exactly directly we. We are doing for generation, for our children, for everything, and we need to think about it. Can we create the perfect foundation things? No. Can we create some text that will be the best one? I don't think so. So anyway, we need to find some compromise today, because we thought that it will be until 6. It is already 10, no problem. Even my son ready to wait until the end. But let's think about it. Is it we who will the final decision makers? Is it we? Is it today that everybody will die or everybody will leave? I don't think so. So we need to get down with this very high low pressure. Because again, we are going to COP, we are going to big bosses with our suggestions. And I don't think that we have done a bad job. You have done, okay, I was supporting, being honestly. But again, the text that we are seeing now, I was listening these 2 days, trying not to talk, because I don't think that I'm better than all these members, and I'm trying to listen, to read. And again, I don't think that we create something innovative or we can take the Nobel with the new foundation creation. So let's think about it. Is it we who will final decision makers? If no, so our text for this day is one of the preferable. So let's do that and keep in our minds that next time we will do better. Thank you very much again to co-chairs, to all members, to all these hard speakers, and sorry if we have some circumstances for you, but again, I think this was great. We are waiting for COP, and we are expecting too many things. And again, thank you for hosting country, for have this TC5. This was very important. We did it. We try again and again, 5 times, so we need to find a solution today. This is what I want to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gillian. Very well put. And indeed, I think Diane also very much stressed that this is one step in the process in terms of going forward. Heike, please.
Thank you, co-chair. Thank you, colleagues. I'm really struggling with a heavy heart. I must say I support the changes asked for by Christina and by Sally. I'm also struggling after our start this morning, where we were asked to deliver on 4 changes requested by the G77, and we delivered. And then we were confronted with more changes and more changes and more changes without the possibility to seek compromise and to solve those issues. But it was a take it or leave it after we delivered in good faith on the 4 asked this morning. So I'm really struggling and would really want to see the changes that Christina asked for and Sally. At the same time, in the spirit of compromise, we are willing to accept this text. As I said, with a heavy heart. I'm not talking about the last-minute changes on allocation without discussion. Also, some practicalities on the World Bank interim conditions. I'm talking about technicalities so that it can work as a process. I have no full clarity, but again, in the spirit of compromise, to value our mandate and the important task ahead, also to inspire all of us to work as hard and in the same spirit of compromise for more ambition on mitigation at COP28. In this spirit, I'm able to accept the result and thanks the co-chairs.
Thank you, Heike. So can I, for the last time, now to just check whether we have reached an agreement and will we be able to forward the recommendations to the COP in line with our mandate or not? Okay, so hearing no objection, so I would then refer committee members to document TC5/2023/4/Rev2, which contains a draft text on the operationalization of the new funding arrangements. Sorry, Christina.
Sorry, Uti. So what I said earlier doesn't change, and you had put out an option of then just putting the 2 annexes forward. Are you saying that is now off the table?
Okay, so if committee members accept, we would then put forward the governing instrument and the annex with the funding arrangements, and then for the decision text, which admittedly, you know, we started working on that much later than what we did on the governing instrument. What Richard and I would propose to do would be that we would summarize or include the content of the draft decision text in a co-chair's note that would be annexed to the report of the transitional committee. So again, it would have a different status. We can adopt the governing instrument. We can adopt the annex with the funding arrangements, but then that would be a different status. And again, just stressing that the working modality that we put forward tonight, given the late hour, was that we wanted all of the whole thing adopted as a package. I have Jens, and then I have Mo.
Well, thank you, and yeah, also thanks a lot to you for this last effort, and thanks to everybody for all this work we have done together. I think, I think we felt a bit like the way sort of that Heike expressed it, that I mean, I have really a hard time understanding why we could not discuss that change that was proposed by Christina, that seemed to me just to clarify the thing that the text already did. But okay, if that's the case and we cannot do that, and that means we cannot agree to the full text, then I don't think we can. Then we cannot agree to anything. I think for us it's a package, and I think it's a package that at least our seat would, I think, in this very, very last minute have been able to accept. I think also sort of in the spirit of what Heike said, that we did that we need this also to go forward, because we have a very, very important job to do when we get to the COP. But I think breaking up the package, I think that doesn't work for us.
Okay, thank you. Mo, please.
Thank you so much, Janice, because our understanding was this is a package that was put forward together. So now I'm hearing that it is on selective basis, that some will be included, some others. So just like to get the clarity. So it is the 3 documents coming forward, right? Presented together as agreed or as like proposed. And then parties can provide their concerns, their reservations, and which will be reflected in the report, right? Thank you.
That's correct. So, okay, I'll try one more time. I guess, is US able to join the consensus, or would you have to? Okay, Christina.
Can you bracket the paragraphs that are on the sources in the decision text? Okay, then no.
Okay, so let me just check, because I mean, once we start bracketing, that doesn't stop. And again, I mean, from the co-chairs, the proposal was to adopt the package as is. So just checking that that can the US not object to consensus? Achuhi.
Can I just say one word? Yesterday morning, I said that if we are going to adopt something, a recommendation, that recommendation should be something helpful for the negotiation at the COP28. And now, to my eyes, it is clear that the current package that it is have a particular difficulty, at least at one delegation. And sending such a package to COP28 cannot be necessarily very helpful to the success of the COP28. And Christina just proposed to put the part in the bracket. I think that can be an idea. Other idea can be that Christina have proposed to put a very minor footnote, and I don't see any substantial changes on the whole package. So I think in order for us to make a helpful, truly helpful recommendation to COP28, I think we should accommodate in one way or another the suggestion by the US member. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Achushi. Again, just noting that this was really a take it or leave it package as it stands. We have a quorum in the room, so I would then propose that we note that we have reached agreement on the package as it stands. So So we propose that the Transitional Committee adopt this document as its recommendation to be forwarded to the COP and the CMA in line with our mandate. We note that the version we are proposing for adoption in advance, it's an unedited version, and the document will be edited in line with the UNFCCC standards and circulated to the Transitional Committee again once edited. This document would be appended to the procedural report of the Transitional Committee to the COP and CMA, a draft which was shared on 2nd of November, which will be updated to reflect the outcomes of this meeting and circulated for approval on no objection basis. So then moving to adoption of the document, hearing no objection, document TC5/2023/4/Rev2 is hereby adopted and will be forwarded to the COP at its 28th session and the CMA at its 5th session in line with the mandate of the Transitional Committee. Thank you. We will now turn to agenda item 4, other matters. We note that no other matters were raised for consideration under this item during the adoption of the agenda. We therefore proceed to the next agenda item, which is closure of the meeting. So first of all, thank you everyone for your hard work over, Mo, please.
Thank you so much, and let me at the outset thank you, co-chairs, for the effort leading us towards the end of the 5 TC meetings, and also for all the efforts put by the Secretariat and all members. Just wanted to highlight that this document, although we have accepted it and we have endorsed it as TC members, it just falls short in many of what we as developing countries have asked for, starting with the scale of the fund, the sources of the fund, many of other elements that are considered key asks from our constituency. And while as a TC member, going forward and accepting the document as a recommendation going to the COP. So this document, I'll have to go back to my constituency, present to them, and once we are at the COP, there will be discussions around the document. Just wanted to highlight that our acceptance here, at least from this seat and my constituency, reflects our view, accepting the document in this late hour, and we hope that when we reach the COP, we'll be moving forward with that. We had several reservations that we have highlighted in our statement, and I hope this statement will be reflected in your document. Finally, our understanding that any mention on this fund being operating entity of the financial mechanism, that this is our understanding that this is according to Article 11. Thank you.
Thank you. Christina, please.
Thank you. So I've had to say that I can't agree to this text now a couple of times. If this is consensus-based, I'm not sure why there is now a decision by the co-chairs to send this package forward as agreed. Maybe if you can explain to me why that decision is being taken.
Okay, thank you, Christina. So we heard you and we understand your request for an additional comment. We also understand that although the rules of procedure say one thing, what's not written in the rules of procedure is working practice, which is we don't veto consensus. We generally, if we have objections, we don't stand in the way of consensus. We abstain from any decision. And I think what he had asked you several times to see whether or not you had any flexibility, whether you were insisting on applying a veto and then essentially blocking the views of all the other members who who equally had concerns, who equally had additions. So let's make it clear, colleagues, it was not only Christina that wanted to have comments. I've had to spend the whole day working on comments with my colleagues. So there would have probably been 45, 60, 70 different amendments on it. So I think Uti had asked you 3 times. We maintained there was a quorum in the room. We asked again in the room. There was no objections. It was gavelled. So in our view, this is what it is. We gave you the opportunity to express your views. We will be happy in our report to reflect that there was an objection from one member, and for that reason, and to capture your issues there, we have no problem, and that will be in our report. But in our view, it was put again to the committee, and there was no objection. So I hope that explains.
Okay, thank you. So then, turning to the final agenda item of the very last meeting of the surprisingly ad hoc meeting of the Transitional Committee. So closure of the meeting. I really do we both want to thank you for your really hard work over the past 2 days, over this year. It's been an amazing journey, roller coaster ride. I think some of the rides I would have been quite happy to miss, but anyway. Also want to thank the government of the United Arab Emirates for their immense efforts to host us here on an extremely short notice. We really appreciate your hospitality and look forward to returning to the UAE for COP28. So the 5th and final meeting of the Transitional Committee is hereby closed. Safe travels.
Colleagues, just hang on a second. The incoming presidency wants to make a statement.
So you've reached conclusion.
Yeah.
Colleagues, sorry to keep you a few more minutes. I'd like to take this opportunity to read to you a statement of the COP President-designate on this occasion. Before I do, let me say this has been a very intense process. And it's inevitable in processes like this that we have to focus on the big picture, because inevitably there will be bruised feelings around the table, in fact, at the situation we are in. We don't have a huge amount of time to come to closure on this. We have now come to closure on this, and let me say, in my view, I think this is a historical achievement and will be one of the landmark achievements in the climate regime. I'd like to thank you all and our co-chairs for all their efforts. I'd like to now read you the statement of Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber, COP President-designate. Distinguished colleagues, I'm truly honored to have hosted you in Abu Dhabi as we come together to conclude the important work of the Transitional Committee on Loss and Damage. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our co-chair and co-facilitators and all the members for their unwavering dedication and their hard work. The eyes of the world have been upon us, ensuring that we stand on the right side of history. I'm overjoyed to announce that we can now move forward to fulfill the promises made at Sharm el-Sheikh. The unity and determination we've witnessed in this endeavor have been truly remarkable. We are now just one step away from a successful outcome on loss and damage. Your willingness to collaborate and your concerted efforts have brought us across this major hurdle. It is now imperative that we swiftly activate and capitalize the fund to fulfill its intended purpose. The world doesn't need an empty bank account. It needs an operational fund that can truly make a difference. This is our moment to stand together in solidarity and unwavering resolve. The efforts you put forth today hold the immense power to secure the future for billions of people. I offer my profound thanks to you for your dedication and unwavering commitment. Together, we have demonstrated that by working closely, we can reach consensus, and I would like to carry the same negotiation spirit to COP28. Thank you, and that's the end of the message of the COP President-designate, and with that, let me say that as difficult as this process has been, and you have all been in this for 5 meetings, I only came today, but I think that the outcome does credit to all of you, as difficult as it has been. I've heard how difficult it has been for some on one side of the table to go along with the consensus that we've reached, but your ability to overcome those objections and to be able to join in a consensus is inspiring. And I'd like to thank you for that, because I think the signal that that gives is not that you gave away things. The signal that gives is that you are committed to an outcome that is transformational, and you're willing to engage in this negotiation process and in this important intergovernmental process to give us success at COP28, which is so important for us going forward. So with that, thank you very much, and we thank you for your dedication, your hard work, and wish you a good trip home, and we're looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you.
I will reflect. We will
Thank you.
reflect that in the document.
This is not a consensus document.
In your view, that's not a consensus document, and we will reflect that.
No, it's not a consensus document. Without my consent, as a member of this TC, it is not a consensus document.
Okay, thank you, Christina. We will consider that and reflect appropriately our understanding of what happened. Thank you.